Hello, heathens. Welcome to Girls Gone Godless, the podcast where you don't have to pay tithe to hang out with us. I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Noe.
On today's episode, we are picking some random surprise topics to discuss and have one of our shit-talking sessions that we love so very much. And that you love so very much, because people have told me that that's their favorite.
And apparently we're huge in Croatia right now. So shout out to you Croatians.
Okay, so first, I'm just going to start out with a question.
Mm-hmm.
How much money is $300 billion? Do you want to know? It's a lot, okay? I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money. So with $300 billion, you could build 250 Cowboys stadiums, the new ones, because the new one that they built was 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
You could fund a Harvard education for over 2 million students.
Wow.
You could spend $1 million per day for 300 years.
Take that in, folks.
Take that in. Drink that in. And then there was a study backed by the German government that estimated about $300 billion could end world hunger by 2030. Take that in.
300 billion.
Yeah. Okay. So if you think about the companies that exist in our world that have $300 billion in assets, I want you to think Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Netflix, Nestle, Salesforce, and McDonald's and Disney barely have $200 billion. So when I'm saying $300 billion, I'm talking more than the assets of McDonald's and Disney. Okay.
Which is an inconceivable amount. I don't think the human brain can really even conceive that big of a number.
No, they cannot. But do you want to know who can conceive that big of a number? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I fucking thought so.
You fucking thought so, because that's the amount of money that the church has in total assets currently. $300 billion.
Holy fucking shit.
Based on asset size alone, they would be in the top 20 companies in the Fortune 500. They bring in between $15 and $20 billion annually.
Thanks, Grandma.
That's the same amount of money that Delta Airlines brings in every year.
I'm actually surprised that Delta Airlines makes as much as they do.
And General Mills. It was Delta Airlines and General Mills. That's how much money they bring in annually is about that much.
Wow. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And what the fuck are they doing?
Oh, Christina, are you going to ask what the fuck are they doing with that money?
Yes.
Well, I will tell you. I looked into this $300 billion that the church has, what it breaks down to. So the biggest chunk of that money is assets that are held by Ensign Peak Advisors, which is the church's investment firm. So why exactly would a church need an investment firm worth over $200 billion?
I don't know, but I'm taking notes because I want to be able to take this all in.
Take it in. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, why? No. And also remember that this is a church in the United States of America, and churches in the United States of America are not taxed. So all of this money is tax-free.
And literally, if every member stopped tithing right into this second, they would still have enough money to, it would take them hundreds of years to spend the money, right?
Yeah. So if members stopped tithing today, the church would still be able to function, even if it didn't have any investments, but just with the amount of money that the church has in assets, the church would be able to function for 30 years. And when you compare that to the amount of money that other companies have, I'm going to say other companies because this is company level shit. Like Google has enough money to survive and keep running operations for a year and a half. And the church could do it for 30 years.
I don't understand how, because the members have to know this, right? Because there's members who are in the higher up. They go home to their families and probably talk about this stuff. And those family members talk to friends. Everybody must know. It's Googleable. So they can look up and see how much. And this doesn't cross their mind that this is fucking batshit nutso and not at all probably what their heavenly father would want with from
No,
this?
I don't think None of my family members who are devout would ever, like, go and Google or do research that's not given by the church because you're taught so much that other people are out to make Mormons look bad. Like, even if they know the amount of money they have, they're still like, "Well, it's for good." So, I mean, they don't know, they don't care, they don't believe it. It's a combination of things.
I mean, just imagine what they could do. They could wipe out a shit ton of stuff, and then people would probably be like, "I would like to join that church because they actually do good stuff."
Right.
Instead of, like, sending people on missions, like, actually saving America. I
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, sorry, mind-boggling. I know for a
No, don't be
podcast, it's, like,
sorry.
not good to just be like all, but, like, that's how I feel.
Okay. So, Christina, to your point of like, you said that members must know. I had no idea when I was a member. Like,
Mm,
I knew that the church had money and I knew that the church owned land because it's talked about in the church that the church owns farmland and has agricultural like divisions to it, and the way that you're taught that is that it's part of the church's long-term like disaster plan. So if there's a natural disaster or like Jesus comes back and you
right.
are a good tithe paying Mormon, then you would have access to food and whatever else, because the church has all of this stuff.
But inactive members would be fucked.
Correct.
Ah,
So I looked at the different things that the church has its money invested into. So, like I mentioned, so that's $300 billion is the total amount of assets that the church has. So that includes money that's invested and land. So when I
Mhm.
looked at the investment arm of the church, which is about $200 billion, at the end of 2024, at some point the church had investments in Philip Morris, the
a
tobacco company.
cigarette yeah, okay.
They had investments in Snapple, the tea company.
What?
Oh, but wait, the church had investments in Dr. Pepper, which owns Keurig, the coffee company. The church currently actively has investments in something called VC Properties, VICI, and Take Two Interactive, which are gambling companies. And then they have investments in Monster, the energy drink company,
Oh my god.
and investments in Coke and Pepsi.
So what's the deal? What's the deal, girl? Why are they doing that?
To hoard wealth. They also have investments in Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Ruger. So they're also funding wars.
Of
Right.
course.
And how much did they put towards, Trump or his inauguration or his
Okay.
fucking ballroom?
So what they say is that they do not directly give money to candidates, to
For our
specific
listeners,
candidates.
I'm jacking off into the air.
Not because she's turned on, because she's
No,
saying poo poo to that.
on this. Yeah.
Yes.
So they say that they don't give money directly to candidates, but they do give money, like when they had Prop 8 about like marriage equality, like they'll give money to fight that, but not to like a specific individual candidate.
Right.
Right.
That's what they say. So that's like I mentioned it's all the different companies. That's what the Enzyme Peak Advisors asset portfolio looks like. Then we're talking about the other $100 billion that the church has. They are the second largest private land owner in the United States. The church owns the world's largest beef ranch, which is located in Florida. They
What?
also, I know, it's really silly. The church owns a company called AG Reserves, and it's the largest producer of nuts in the United States.
The Mormon church is also the biggest producer of nuts.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Very accurate. They own Bonneville International, which is the 10th largest radio chain in the United States. The church owns Deseret News, which is a newspaper and website. It's the second largest newspaper in Utah. So when we talked earlier about like, do members know? Well, members are getting their news from Deseret News, and the church owns Deseret News.
Mhm.
So of course that information is filtered through the
Right.
lens of a pro-church media conglomerate. Okay.
Mhm.
The church owns a company called Farmland Reserves Incorporated, and they have 370,000 acres in Nebraska, and they have 51,600 acres in Oklahoma, which they do cattle ranching on. The church owns a company called Hawaii Reserves Incorporated. They are a property management company that manages 7,000 acres in Hawaii, where they have commercial properties, private campgrounds, and various infrastructure projects, which include like a water treatment facility.
They have such a stronghold in Hawaii. I know they do everywhere, but it's just especially sickening there when people can't even afford to live where they were born. And yeah, I
I
could go
didn't know
down that
that. I
rabbit hole a
You've
lot.
said that before, and I need to look into that
Well, have you ever
weirdness.
been to the Polynesian Cultural Center?
Oh,
No.
funny you mentioned that, Noe. That's what's next on the list. So I want you to think about how big of an industry tourism is in Hawaii. The Polynesian Cultural Center is the leading paid visitor attraction in the state of Hawaii, and that is owned by the Mormon Church. They call it a living museum, and it is also called Oahu's most authentic luau. And tickets start at $100. So if you've got your big Mormon family with 6 children and 2 parents, you're going to drop $1,000 just going to the Polynesian Cultural Center.
And have.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
fucking
Have you been
crazy.
there, Leah?
yeah, I have. But I went there like as a kid. This
No,
was
me too,
before
me
I
too.
was, yeah, like this is before I was
Not
Mormon. Like
not
I,
me dropping money on it.
no,
Not
not me
me.
personally. I could never. The church owns that. And then the church also owns the City Creek Center in Salt Lake City, which is a mall. Tenants include Macy's, Nordstrom, Tiffany and Co., and Cheesecake Factory. I like, why would the church need a mall? Like, that's also really ridiculous. It's all about money. It's money.
But why? Okay. Why is that even legal? Is that legal? Why are they allowed to invest with shit that's not helping people, has nothing to do with their religion, and all of it is tax free? Why? And how? And why?
Because of our laws and well,
Greed
also
and
because they have
capitalism and
greed and capitalism, but also because they have so much money that they can afford lobbying in DC
Mm,
to keep this all legal, right? Like,
right. Does that ever make you feel like non-religious people should just start making up a bunch of religious churches? Like, we should do the same shit and not be
yeah,
taxed? Like, that's so
I think about it
stupid.
all the time. I think about it all the time.
Well, if the podcast doesn't work out, you can join our church.
we should we should do this for Scientology too at some point.
Well, I looked to see like where the LDS church falls in terms of like religious organizations for
Mhm.
money, and like Scientology, it's not even anywhere close. Like it's such a small
Mm,
number in comparison to the LDS church. It was like the LDS church has 300 billion. I think Scientology had like 10.
okay.
Oh, shit.
So I know what you're thinking. Surely, since it's a church and it's got all of this money, it's using it to help people, right? Right? Well, it's
Yes.
not.
Oh.
It's not. Guess what? It's not.
Shock and awe.
Shocker.
Wait, input sound effect. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of it all. Okay. So the church breaks up its charitable giving into two different categories. So there's one category that's called humanitarian aid. The Corporation of Jesus Christ, sorry, I mean the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints increased its charitable donations by 500% in the last few years. Isn't that amazing, right?
It could be.
But the change only happened since their finances became more visible to the public. So
Right.
Mm.
in 2019, the church gave about $100 million in humanitarian aid, which equals 0.03% of 300 billion. And then once some more of this information came public, so there was a lawsuit against the church a couple of years ago. So in 2023, they gave $500 million in humanitarian aid. So a whopping 0.16% of their $300 billion. And so humanitarian aid includes cash and goods donated by the church, regardless of faith, race, or nationality. So this is humanitarian aid that they would be giving to anyone, anywhere in the world, regardless of them being a member or not.
And they probably make double that back in interest, like in a
Yeah.
snap.
Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize is they just hear the number, oh, 100 million. that's so much because they
Mhm.
can't even fathom what a billion is.
Right. I got into a online argument with somebody. I don't know if you saw the thing about how Billie Eilish was in a
Mm.
room of billionaires and said like, "You fucking suck," or whatever. And somebody online was like, "She's, worth $50 million, and, she's saying this and that and blah blah blah." And she had donated, a big chunk of change to a charity or mutual aid or something. And the guy was like, "She shouldn't be talking." And I'm like, "Do you understand? Like, okay, $50 million. She could buy a neighborhood of $1 million houses, 50 houses for $1 million, right? Elon Musk could buy 482,000 $1 million houses.
Yeah.
50 or 482,000, like the
Right.
$1 million houses. Like that is insane because even if it was like a house that was $100,000, somewhere in like Kentucky, he could buy millions of
Yeah, well,
houses.
he could fucking end world hunger. I think the
Right.
terms that we have to put it in for people is like how much do these people make and how much would that be in comparison? They
Yeah.
need to understand the comparison and they just can't wrap their heads around the fact that they're closer to being homeless than they ever are to being a billionaire. But it's like people, especially poor white people, they have this thing where they like align themselves with rich white people because they think someday I'm going to be that way. And they don't realize
Right.
that's never going to be you.
Right.
Never.
Yeah, it's just insane the difference between millions and billions, and it is hard without a visual. Even the numbers that you're throwing, Aaliyah, it's
Right.
like, what? There's a lot of people who vote against
Yeah.
their better
Yeah.
interests because they don't understand the numbers and the vast difference between
Right.
what.
Well, it's like if they keep all of us working class people fighting, then we don't ever have the time to realize it's them against us. Like for instance, with the New York City mayor race, like the Republicans and the Democrats, the corporate ones came together to support Cuomo. And it
Mhm.
just shows that, like, they are willing to come together when it's about them keeping their money and power versus the
Right.
working people, but they're not willing to come together when it's actually to help the constituents. So it just shows
Yeah.
there's, like it's class. It's a class war.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
they don't give a shit about
For
us.
sure. I'm sure that the Mormon church is telling their members to just tithe us your money. We will do with it what will make God happy. And don't you invest your money in these sinful, companies. And don't ask us where we're investing your money. We're giving it to God and we'll get you into heaven, whatever layer of the heaven cake you need to be in.
It's kind of like what Britt talks about, where church does everything for you to make you feel like a good person and it takes the hard work out. So that part of you is being fulfilled because you're like, I am being charitable and I don't have to think about it. It's all done for me. So it's
Mhm.
like easy
And now
peasy.
that you told me, Aaliyah, on our last episode, I didn't know that little kids were supposed to tithe too. So now, like, little kids, their money is going to wars and Lockheed
I
Martin and all
I
that.
don't know if the expectation is for, like, small Mormon children to tithe, but in Pentecostal world, yeah, if
Mm.
you have money, give it up
Right.
to God so God can buy, I don't know, 50,000 private jets or something.
There was a TikTok video of a pastor had asked his members to bring like $2,000 to tithe, and this lady
And I
didn't
saw
have
that.
it. And he, like, got all up in her fucking face, like, "Did I say less than $2,000? No, I said t." She's like, "I only have, like, 1,200." And he's like, "Well, that's not what I asked for." And it's like, "What the
Excuse
fuck?"
me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, we talked about humanitarian aid.
Mhm.
The other part of the church's charitable giving is what's called church welfare, which is for members only, and only the tithe paying members. So in the Mormon church, there is something at the end of the year when you meet with your bishop and you bring your pay stubs to do tithe settlement so that the bishop can check to make sure that you have been accurately giving 10% of your income throughout the year. And if you have not given the right amount of money, then you are expected to cut a check for tithe settlement.
Are you fucking kidding me? This makes me angry, like, stabby angry. That is Did you have to do that?
Tithe settlement? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was an adult member. Yeah. So That's a thing. So if you're not like in good standing, then like you can't keep your temple recommend, or you would not be eligible for church welfare if you ever needed it one day.
I'm gonna
The
cry. That's like so sad. I'm sorry.
No, it's terrible. The whole thing is trash. It's terrible. It's awful. So there's tithes and then there's fast offering. So tithes go to keeping the building open, essentially. That's like the lights getting paid for. And I think what I saw was that on average, the average ward brings in like $250,000 a year or something like that in tithe. So that basically is enough to keep the lights on. Some of that money goes to missionary work. Basically, like the expenses of the church operations are covered with the majority of the tithe money. And then there's fast offering, which is the money that members give to the church on the Sundays that we do fast Sunday, which is you don't eat breakfast or lunch on that Sunday. So you would basically give the church the amount of money that you would have spent on breakfast and lunch. I would give $10 on every fifth Sunday or whatever it was. So the money from fast offering goes towards church welfare.
What? What?
Okay.
No, I'm
All right, slow down, slow down. Let us have an emotional reaction. Go ahead,
yeah,
Christina.
Go ahead.
so you fast
Mhm.
to appease your deity, supposedly. Is that what the
You're fasting to save money to give money to the church for people who can't afford food.
gotcha. Okay. So you're paid to fast, pretty much.
Yep. You don't get to eat and you have to give up some money for it. But wait. Are you ready to get
There's
even more mad?
more. But wait, it's like an infomercial.
So in 2024, members gave about $800 million in fast offering alone. Okay. And in 2024, fast offering temporary cash assistance to members in need amount totaled to $791 million. So the members covered that with the fast offering money. So the church itself, the corporation of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Mhm.
did not have to spend any money to cover
Right.
fast offering assistance for members. Members covered
Right.
members.
They made 10 million.
Yes. There's also an element of church welfare called the bishop's storehouse, which the food comes from the farms and the agricultural businesses that the church has. So it doesn't really cost them money. So there was $71 million given out in food from the bishop's storehouse in 2024. So between the amount of money from that and the amount of money given out to members, it's like $850 million of their $300 billion, which again is like 0.3% of the church's money.
Right. Can we do a little math?
Yeah.
Can we take
I love
a
math.
somewhat average salary and then see what is 0.03% of that, just so people can get a reference of like, if this
Sure.
was you, if you make, I don't know,
80,000 a year.
80,000 a year, plus you have to factor in they're not being taxed,
So it was what was the percentage? 0.3.
0.3,
So that is
$24.
yeah.
So if you make $80,000 and you claim to be a super charitable thing that, qualifies to not even be taxed, you make 80,000 a year, you giving $24 a year, would you consider yourself a charitable organization doing that?
No
No.
fucking way.
No. We pay more than that in platforming fees to give this charity to our listeners.
Seriously.
We give this blessing to everyone. We
Right.
spend more than
Yeah.
that. So we're pretty
I know.
charitable.
This is our fast offering. We skip a meal to give you a podcast.
So earlier I mentioned the money that members tithe covers church operations, and what people give in fast offering covers the assistance of the church welfare program for people. So basically how it breaks down, for example, in 2024, there was a $200 million tithing surplus. So the amount of money that the members tithed covered all of the expenses that the church needs to function and run. And then there was an additional $200 million. And so, of course, that money is invested with Ensign Peak advisors. So the money that is tithe that the members gave then turned around and got invested in coffee, tobacco, gambling, and bombs.
So insane.
Every Mormon's favorite thing.
Mm.
Okay, so that is like my brief overview of the church and their money.
If that was brief, y'all are going to be really disappointed in my segment. Go ahead.
Sorry, I think what I mean when I say brief is like there's so much more that we could get
Of
into
course.
with the church's finances. But like if we're just doing an overview of the corruption within the corporation of Jesus Christ of Latter, sorry, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, then
Yes. That
this
was
is
a
a
great
brief overview.
overview. Yes.
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 Okay. So back to me because it's about me right now.
Sorry.
Huh.
It's okay. It's fine. My personal observations in this is that the church doesn't even tithe. So the church doesn't even give 1% to people in need, let alone nowhere near 10%
10%.
to people
Right.
who are in need. Another personal observation of mine is that Jesus hated money. He threw the money changers out of the temple. So why would he need $300 billion? Like he would be disgusted by the greediness and the hoarding of this money. And then also Jesus said to pay taxes. Like in scripture, it says to give Caesar what is Caesar's. So Jesus is telling his followers that we have an obligation to our community to pay to the government so they can maintain infrastructure. So why is it that Christian churches in the United States don't follow this commandment? Because they're all tax exempt.
Because
Greed. Because greed.
I mean, I wish I had something poignant to say, but it's all fucking greed. It's all fucking nonsense. It's all capitalism bullshit. Like hearing the numbers and just doing the small little bit of math in your head of like the things that could be fixed with just a fraction of that money. Like so many problems could be solved if they actually just use the fucking money.
And also, Christina, I don't know if you know this about the Mormon church.
Of course I don't.
Okay, well, what I'm going to say is the bishop presides over the ward, he doesn't get paid. That's volunteer work. So he keeps his regular day job, and then any bishop work that he does is free. And then the church doesn't pay for janitorial service. So it's members that go and clean the church on Saturdays. So like you take turns on Saturdays to go like clean and vacuum the church and everything. And I read that the church saves $300 million a year on not paying janitorial services to go clean the church. When very obviously, hello, hi, they could pay for that, but they don't. They make members do it. An apostle was quoted saying that it creates a sense of ownership for the members to where they are more committed to the church and seeing the church be successful because they're physically invested in the church. So their members are financially invested. That's why they don't ask members to stop paying tithe, even though the church can function without members paying tithe, but they want members to be invested in the church. So that's literally a financial investment from tithe, financial investment from fast offering, and an investment of members' labor because you are getting the church cleaned for free by members. And we didn't even touch on the fact that missionaries, so like the guys that you see that are paired up at twosies walking around, they pay $500 a month to go on their mission. The church does not fund missions. The young women who go from the church, they go for 18 months and then the men go for 24 months. So their families are on the hook for paying $500 a month for 2 years for their sons to be on missions.
Holy shit. I didn't realize it was that long and I didn't realize it was that much. Like I kind of feel like I knew that they did have to pay something. I didn't know it was that much. But you are in a cult. If there's any people listening right now that are
They're
active members,
They're not.
I
They're
know they're
not.
not. This is why it's a cult. Remember, it's free labor. I mean, that number one, the end. Like, that's all. That you're fucking paying 10% or more of your paycheck and you're fucking cleaning.
And also, just to go back to if you make $80,000 a year, to break it down even further, that's 50 cents a week. Okay. So if you gave 50 cents a week in charity, would you consider yourself a charitable organization that doesn't deserve to be
no.
taxed?
My couch is a charitable organization then because I lose 50 cents a week in my couch cushions. I feel like this just needs to be the whole episode because it's like, what?
Nope. Can't weasel out of this now, Christina. What's your topic? Or are you done, Aaliyah? Have you said Your piece?
That's it. Yeah,
Okay,
that's my whole document
great.
on that topic.
That was a really good topic. Thank you for sharing. I knew it was
You're
bad, but
welcome.
that really highlights how bad it is.
It's really so in case you didn't know, it's really fucking bad. Like, it was already bad in my mind, but the more that I looked into it, the worse it got. And again, this was just like topical. This was just a very light dusting of the
Right.
bullshit.
But it was so thorough.
Of
You're
course.
so smart and such an
Thank you.
overachiever.
Thank you.
And
And
then
like I said, because I didn't want to have the same topic as anybody else, I also had another topic that I did research on and I had ready just in case you guys were going to do the Mormon money, but you didn't, so it's fine.
I do want to know what your other topic was, though. Is it going to be for another surprise?
Yeah, you know what? I'll save it for another surprise if we decide to do this again.
I like it. I think this is an easy way to do a shoot the shit episode, and we can all
Mhm.
just pick one thing. Okay. It's one of our turns. Okay.
Yeah, it's yours.
Okay. All right. All right. So my topic is gay Republicans slash evangelicals. And my question is why? Why is that a thing? What's wrong
Mhm.
with you?
That's all. Call in right now
Why?
and tell us what's wrong with you.
A lot of times I feel like gay men, especially white men, I mean, they're still men and they're still white, right? And that affords them a certain privilege that other people in the community don't get. So I feel like even though they're a part of the queer community, sometimes they will, because they benefit so much from whiteness and from patriarchy and all of that, like they cling on to these toxic ideas because it's still more beneficial for them as a white man than it would be. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, they still have privilege in their maleness and in their whiteness. So
Right.
they're going to not only cling to that privilege,
Right.
but they're also going to ensure that that privilege continues and that remains the dominant culture in our country, right? Is that kind of like what you were trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to see the percentage of them and what religion they were raised in. You know what I mean? So it's like, obviously, being gay is not a choice. And they were probably born into families that did not believe that, right? And so there is an understanding kind of like why they would stay Republican if they were raised Republican, because some people just do, whether they're gay or not, right? I would say, and I would like to see the numbers and I'll research it myself, but that there is a large percentage of them that are just holding on to that religious aspect of.
I think there's like levels to this, right? Like there's going to be people who are gay, who are Republican and who are still closeted.
Well, yes. And that's not who I'm
And
talking
then
about.
okay, that's not who she's talking about. You're talking about people who are out and gay.
Right. I mean, we could talk
George
about both
Santos?
because, yeah,
That I don't understand.
because money, power, being a man is more beneficial to them than aligning themselves with that community. They still can be like, well, I'm not like one of those kind. You
Right.
know what I mean?
And right, like Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, fuck that
Seriously.
ugly fucking bitch. I'm gonna call her a lady. She is a lady
She's
bitch. She's a woman.
She
she's
Fucking
a
is,
woman.
yes.
She's
she
a
is a
woman
fucking
bitch.
horrible woman. I'm gonna respect her pronouns and not respect
Mhm.
her. Fucking
Right,
dumb,
for sure.
dumb, fucking dumb bitch. Ugly bitch. That's all I have to
Yes.
say about her.
Clock it.
Yes. And I know that she's trans and we're talking about gay people, but I'm just saying in the same like realm of what the actual fuck you could be using your platform. Like George Santos could have been using his platform to, in government to fucking do the right thing.
Would he have had a platform though if he wasn't a gay conservative? Right? Because he
Right.
had
That's
like
true.
no substance to him. So the only thing he had was that he was inflammatory. And people were like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's, like Candace Owens, where they will grasp onto her because she's black. Like, see, we don't hate gay people. See, we don't hate black people. And it's just like, just because you found one self-hating person doesn't mean your policies don't hurt these people.
Well, and with Candace Owens, she knows that she can make more money as a Black Republican grifter than just being one of the 92% of us Black women who vote Democratic, right? So she
Right.
would just be like one of the many versus on
Right.
the other side, she's a standout. So I wonder if it's the same kind of mentality with people who align themselves with the Republican Party when they are gay or trans or What I don't understand is lesbians who are like out and Republican, because not only are you aligning yourself with a party that doesn't think that your sexuality is valid, but that is also the party that is going to trample on your rights as a woman. So it's like double-edged
Right.
sword. I don't know. Like, heaven forbid you need hormones while you're going through menopause, and that's considered gender affirming care, and
Right.
your party's against that.
Right.
Right. And there is a lot of gender roles and weird misogyny in the lesbian community. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with a feminine person being with a masculine person. Absolutely fine. It's kind of like the gendered expectation still. Like I see that a lot where like the more masculine person will still have these expectations of the more feminine person. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's a strange thing because even though they're queer, it's like they're still kind of recreating society in a way that's kind of toxic.
Well, I guess, like with anything, lesbianism has various flavors to it.
Yeah, of course.
So if that's your flavor of, yeah, like the
And
vomit
gross. They're
flavored
like
Jelly
rum
Bellies.
raisin.
Right. Like you're so valid as a jelly belly, but you just happen to be vomit flavored. Like
Right.
you're still a jelly belly. You're just
And we still,
gross.
and I will always deep down support Jelly Bellies, but like if you're a
Right.
gross flavor, I'm not going to pick you.
No, I will defend you to the death that you are a jelly belly and you get to exist as a jelly belly. But
Mhm.
Caitlyn Jenner is a fucking vomit flavored jelly belly who I would like to punch in the fucking face.
I
Let
think
me add that to our merch ideas.
I was going to say, I think we have an episode title.
And I wonder, do you think that they are like that when they go home?
I don't know.
Or do you
Republican?
think it's all a phase? Yeah, I mean, or like all a facade just to
Maybe for some
stay on the
people.
good side of the Republican Party.
I don't know. I
I
kind of
shouldn't.
feel like, I mean, we kind of touched on it, but the fact that they align more with their whiteness and their privilege, it almost feels like they think that's going to save them. Like when they come for everyone else, like, well, I'm white, I'm a man, or I'm a Republican, so I'm not like one of those. And it's like they're coming for all of us. There's no like
Mhm.
respectability that they don't want you to exist. They don't want you to have rights. Even the ones that are like, huh, I love Trump. It's like they don't care. They still want you dead and they don't want you to be able to marry the person you love. So
Right.
Yeah.
you're not saving
It's
yourself from
it's like
anything.
when they take away gay rights, they're taking away gay rights for everybody. You don't get like an exemption
Right.
pass.
It's like, have you seen these videos of the Republicans not realizing that SNAP is food stamps? And they're like, but I was supposed to get my money. I was assured. And it's like, did you just think that they were going to take it from Black people? Did you just think they were going to take it from like immigrants who can't even get food? Like, no, it's you're the
Right.
ones
It's
they're taking it
everybody.
from. Like, hello.
You don't, like I said, you don't get an exemption pass just because you voted for Trump. If the things are getting taken away, they're getting taken away from you too. It's like the same thing with people who vote for Trump and are getting detained by ICE. Like that's the thing that's happening, or like their
Right.
spouses or whatever are getting taken by ICE, but they're like, "Wait, but I voted for Trump." Okay, so you voted for this. Like you voted
Right.
for this. When he
Yeah.
said he's coming for immigrants, he meant all of them.
Yeah. Do you think
Right.
ICE is going to be like, "Oh, you voted for Trump? You're cool. You're cool. Okay, I won't take you. I'm only going to take the libs." Like,
Right.
okay,
Right. I think that there are people who can learn from those things. You know, like we've talked to people who have said, I made these mistakes and I didn't realize how much it hurt until it was something that affected me personally. Right. I mean, I
Mhm.
feel like we've probably all been there on maybe not such a large scale, but when shit happens to you, you realize, like, oh shit, this, was really shitty and shouldn't happen to anybody. But if you don't change and grow and learn from that experience and you keep voting Republican, fuck you.
right. And even if they're like, "Oh, it's financial policy or it's this or that," it's just like even if that's the case, then you're saying that's more important than people having rights. Like,
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I
d but,
mean?
like,
I don't.
but even if it's based on, like, financial policy, how much of a difference is it gonna make in your tax bracket, or, in what you are ending up paying in taxes? Like, how much of a difference is that gonna be based on which party is in power versus, do people have basic human rights? Like,
Right.
if
Yeah.
you care more about, like, the difference of, like, I don't know, 0.03% of your tax income, if you care about that more, the $24 a year that it would be or whatever, if you care about that more than you care about my ability to have an abortion if I have an ectopic pregnancy, fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you. I don't want anything to do with you.
Yes.
Huh.
Somehow this country has convinced poor white people that they are aligned with the billionaires. Like, that's gonna be me someday. And it's just like, that will never be you.
No.
Even if you do make good money, when there is a difference in like the tax bracket for if you made over $400,000, that's less than 1% of the population that makes that much money. Like,
Right.
that was the difference that people voted for or against.
Yeah. And when it comes to gay people, why would you want to be aligned
Right.
with the party of blonde butch Bill? What is what did
Bad,
she
bad,
say?
bad,
Bad
big
butch
box,
body.
bleach blonde.
Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
even that cunt is like realizing that shit is fucked up.
Right. Well, okay. Well, a little note on that. Apparently, she wanted to run for Senate, and the Trump campaign wouldn't let her and shut her down, basically. And that's why she's on like this rampage against them. It has nothing to do with like she's coming to
Right,
our
being
side. She's also up
Right.
for reelection. So she's just pissed because of that.
Mhm.
So just remember, if you feel like you're agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're not. She is agreeing with us.
Yes.
Yes. And one more thing, we should talk about, the Republicans that are closeted gay, because there are so many of them, and why.
Yes. Why are they crashing Grinder wherever they
Yes.
go?
Yeah, can we talk about Grindr?
Sure.
Can we pull up some numbers? Pull up the numbers on Grindr crashing
All right.
at Republican events.
And I wonder what Republicans say. They just say that it's a coincidence that Grinder crashes whenever they come to town.
They pretend like they don't know what Grindr is. I think that's what they do.
Meat grinder, making burgers.
Making beef fillet because I own a cattle ranch. So I was grinding that meat, grinding
There you
that
go.
meat all night because I got a lot of cattle.
I'm just curious about the psychological part of why these conservative men are this way, and so many of them are closeted. What kind of like shame dynamic or weird patriarchal bullshit that is in their head? It's so weird how there's such a huge connection between the ones that are the most outspoken about hating gay people.
They're just mad that their God put their G spot in their asshole.
Right.
Well, I think we've talked about it on the podcast that they will say that being gay is a choice because they're choosing to suppress their desires and suppress who they are as people because they have a belief system that tells them it's a choice to be gay and that it's wrong to be gay and that it's a sin to be gay.
They're like, I choose to be straight every day. All right, last thing I'm going to say about gay conservatives, and I say this all the time. If you put me in a room full of crack, nothing is going to happen to me. I'm not going to go crazy or get upset or go wild because I'm not a crackhead. So why, when you put a straight, and I'm using air quotations here, a straight man around gay men, why do they go crazy? Why does it like ignite this fire in them? Like they get so emotional and unhinged. It's like, because you're in a room full of crack, because you want them, because you're a gay crackhead. Okay? Because seriously.
No, it's true.
How is a crackhead going to act in a room full of crack? That's how a Republican is going to act in a room full of gays. Why? Because he has a boner.
Because he's got an addiction.
A big gay boner.
He's got an addiction to gays. He can't stop talking about the gays. Can't stop thinking about the gays.
Okay, I did find the numbers
on Grindr.
Yes. So, this only shows the 2016 RNC in Cleveland. The area around the convention center saw a 66% increase in user traffic and 120% increase on the first day of the convention alone.
Also, the Charlie Kirk memorial service, and that is quite recent. Everyone grieves in their own way. Sometimes you got to fuck a friend in the butt to remember your friend. I guess. I don't know. That's not what I do, but I'm not a Republican man.
I've had to grieve a lot, but I've never done it that way.
Okay, Christina, what's your topic?
Oh, God.
God is always the topic. You have to pick something else.
I know. Okay, so my surprise topic is short but sweet because it's only been a couple days that she's been doing this. But it's the girl on TikTok who is calling churches, and she has a fake baby crying in the background, and she's asking for 1 can of formula because she ran out last night. And I think as of this recording, 2 Black churches offered to help and said yes, and 1 mosque was like, absolutely yes.
And the
All
Buddhist temple.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that one. Buddhist temple. But so many churches, I saw there's a spreadsheet now before we started recording, and I saw somebody on TikTok talking about the spreadsheet, but I can't find the actual spreadsheet video yet. I think she was up to like over 25 churches. And you don't pay taxes. You claim to want to help the fucking poor. The government is shut down. So obviously people are going to, like, did they not think people were going to be calling them for help? She can't be the only person calling. It's not far fetched that a mother would be calling a church to ask
No.
for 1 can. And I saw one of the videos where it wasn't even the church saying yes. It was just the guy was like, I'm a grandpa. Oh, tell me the brand and if I have to
Right.
run to the store and get it. And she stopped and said, I'm just letting you know that this is a social experiment. And I was just trying to see who would help. But you could tell that the church didn't have something in place for people who are calling. He was just a good grandfather and wanted to help her. So I don't even count that as the church helping. I think he just was like, we don't really do that, but I'll do it for you, sort of thing. So he was a good person. That's great. But the church doesn't have a fucking plan in place.
Right.
It's just like what's his face not opening the church to flood
Joel
victims.
Osteen.
Joel Osteen, yeah.
I feel like obviously it's a problem in a lot of religions, but I feel like particularly American evangelicalism, Christianity. Because I mean, Sikh temples, they're giving out banging food weekly, daily, some places. Anyone can go and get a meal from a Sikh temple. And I think that's fucking awesome. And I feel like American religious people and just like America as a whole is so focused on the individual. And it's almost like a costume they put on. But the fact that they get to be tax exempt is supposedly for times like this. Why is there not a threshold they need to meet to be tax exempt? Or is
Right,
there?
and-
I don't think so.
No, because the LDS church is out here owning shopping malls and
Right.
everything else.
Beef
And
production. And in our episode when we interviewed Brittany Trabolsky, not Britt Hartley.
Honey, the Thailand, that one.
Honey, the Thailand, yes. And she said that when she lost her partner, she was like, okay, this is it. I've been,
Right.
going to church and doing these things, and I was ready for somebody to give me, the advice about grieving and all this kind of stuff. And they just had nothing. It was just like, pray harder. And I feel like that's where we are right now, where they're like, pray harder. But this is your moment. This is what you tell everybody. Come to our side because we do this and we, feed the poor and we clothe the naked and we, do all this kind of stuff that Jesus would do. And they're just fucking hanging up in her face. You would think it's like go time. It's like Santa and his elves. It's like, okay, here, it's time,
Right.
It's Christmas Eve. We got to get our shit together. As soon as the government shut down, these churches should have been like, okay, here we go. Open the food bank. The church has enough money to go fucking buy groceries and pass it out to people. And they shouldn't have to be a member of their church. Oh, and this reminds me, I have a friend during COVID. She needed groceries, right? There was a food bank that was doing drive through. And because it was COVID times, you stayed in your car with your windows up and you popped your trunk and they put like a box of food in there. Anyway, somebody asked if they could pray for them. And they said, no, thank you. And they got home and their fucking trunk was empty. So she put a thing on Facebook and was like, this is what happened. And everybody was up in arms. They were tagging the church, all this stuff. And they were like, oh, it was just a misunderstanding. Come back and we'll give you your food. And it's like, no, you motherfuckers, you know what you did. That's why I call missions religious telemarketing. Why? Do they have to sit through your fucking bullshit to get their house built or to get their clean water filters or whatever it is? This is the same fucking thing. Charity shouldn't be transactional. She needs formula for her baby. You are a fucking church. give her the formula. Go buy it. If you don't want to give her money, people who are always like, oh, I don't like to give cash to homeless people because they're going to go buy drugs with it. Number one, a gift is a gift. You give somebody their fucking money, you don't get to choose where your gift goes. But if you're so fucking worried about it, buy her the can of formula yourself and say, come pick it up. But no, they're just like fucking hanging up in her faces. No, we don't do that. Sorry. Because they're a fucking business.
Full circle.
Yes, exactly. They're fucking business and they do not pay taxes. We pay taxes and feed more fucking poor people than churches do, like the three of us, I'm sure. I saw a video of family in Africa with full plates, and they're like, make sure you finish your meal because there's starving children in America. And I was like, oh my God, that is the
How
best
the
shit I have seen.
turntables turn.
Yes, exactly. I wish she would have called X amount of places before she put the videos out
Because people are catching wind of it
because
now.
now they're
Right.
catching on and they're either not answering or, saying yes because they want to save
Right.
face or whatever. But the damage is done, I think, for the people that are following it. I, I think the damage is absolutely done. And I think that they're going to have to sit down and really think about the shit
What
that
they've
people are
done.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Put them in.
Well,
I think we need to put churches in timeout. Like churches in America, you need a timeout. You
yeah.
don't get to take money from people anymore. You
Mhm.
don't get to have tax exempt status until you sit in a corner and think about what you've done and figure out a plan to rectify this situation. Rectify
For
it.
sure.
Reparations,
It's
food,
yes.
money, formula, diapers.
Like you have all this money, you could house the homeless. You could build tiny house places or regular size house places or it's like there shouldn't be people on the streets or living in their cars who are working
Mm-hmm.
and not getting paid a living wage when there are churches that should be opening their doors or letting people stay in their parking lots when they're closed or something like that. It's like this is your untaxed land and they have these huge ass parking lots that are just empty all the time. Like people are always like, "Oh, the church parking lots are the best place to learn how to drive because they're always empty and, they're open." Or church parking lots are the best place to teach your kids how to ride their bike because nobody's ever fucking there except for like Wednesday nights and Sunday nights. The rest of the time, it's like crickets. So much could be done with those buildings.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, like you saying that charity shouldn't be transactional, which obviously, but then also it's like, how do I say it? Their God is transactional. Like
Mhm.
the reason that they do good things is so that they can go to heaven. So it's like it's the
Right.
same shit. If you're only
Right.
doing good things, so good things happen to you, you're missing the entire point of helping other people. And if God
Right.
is real and he knows your heart, like, I don't know. You don't think he knows if you're faking it? It's all so transactional. So I will never
There
understand why people are like, atheists can't have morals. I feel the opposite. If you have to be told to be a good person or you're going to hell and that's the only reason why you're helping other people, then you're not a good person.
And I believe anybody, who needs it should get SNAP. The fucking process is a pain in the goddamn ass. I do not know how there's fraud. I don't believe that there's this fraud that they talk about because you have to go through so many hoops to get it. But I keep seeing these local posts of people arguing about it.
Even if there is a small amount of fraud, and that means that the amount we pay as taxpayers for SNAP is like what, $20 a year. That's less than the Mormon church pays. Even if there's that amount of fraud, okay, I don't really care if kids are
I don't
getting
care.
fed with it, number one. And
Mhm.
number two, do you know how much fraud is in the US military and the defense
Right.
budget? And that majority of our taxes goes to that and killing people. And nobody is like, well, let's investigate the military. And it's such a
Yeah.
small number. And they keep us focusing on the poorest, most oppressed people. And it's like, you know what? I don't really fucking care if someone gets
Mm-mm.
$50 more than they should have and they bought like
Right.
some extra food. Like, I don't fucking care. I care
Right.
about all of the money that I have to spend on missiles blowing up people in other countries that I don't agree with.
I would much rather pay for some woman's hot Cheetos than pay for bombs to get dropped in Gaza. Christina, you mentioned when people give money to homeless people and they go out and buy drugs with it or go buy alcohol with it. If that is preventing them from having an opioid withdrawal or an alcohol withdrawal,
Mhm.
which is deadly and fatal,
Mhm.
I'm really okay with that. And also, I've never had to sleep on the street, but if I
Mhm.
did, I'd probably want to be intoxicated. If that was my
Right.
choice in life and like that's where I was at, and if it was coming down to a decision between me buying drugs and me buying food, I cannot say
Right.
what I would do in that situation because I've never been in that situation. But if you have to
Mhm.
deal with the stress of living on the street, you might need a little something to take the edge off. And who gives
Right.
a shit?
Absolutely.
Or you might need to stay up all night because you have to watch your
Yeah.
back and you're not safe, especially if you're a
Yeah.
woman, like, just to
Mhm.
survive, to keep yourself warm, maybe you have to drink,
Yeah.
like, you don't know.
Right. And that's the thing. It's a gift. You're giving it to them.
It can't be conditional. Yeah.
Exactly. It can't be like the church.
And I've wanted to talk about this on the podcast for a long time, and I don't think we have. But when Jesus fed the 5,000, like he didn't expect anything in return. And he gave these people fishes and bread. And churches can't even do that. Like, never once have I gone to a church and they've given me sushi. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like
Right.
Right?
if you wanna live like Jesus, give the fish. Give out the raw fish,
Yes.
Right.
because I don't think he was cooking it, because it doesn't mention
Mm-mm.
anywhere that the fish was cooked.
Right.
So,
No.
churches, you should be doing sushi drives regularly for people
Mhm.
like me to give me my spicy tuna without conditions. Could you imagine if the Mormon Church gave 10% of their assets to feed the poor right now?
That would be it. I mean,
Like, no one would be hungry,
no.
practically, not in this country.
I think it would be $30 billion is 10% of their assets, right? So can you imagine the amount of
Eh,
food that could be
That's a
purchased with that
lot of
amount of money?
spicy
Right.
tuna rolls.
I was gonna say that's a
Yeah.
lot of hot Cheetos.
Mhm.
I don't see anybody stepping
That's so
up.
stupid. Everybody becomes a fucking forensic accountant on the internet when it comes to people and what they're buying with their fucking SNAP benefits.
It's such
Like,
a
they think the
tiny
poor should
percentage
just
of
be
what we pay.
eating rice and beans from a can, like, over a hot plate. Like, what the fuck?
Right,
I
but
hate it. I hate it here.
then they criticize, okay, if you eat too unhealthy, then they're like, "Well, they're eating so
Mhm.
unhealthy with it, blah, blah, blah." But when I was a young single mom, I was on SNAP, and when I would, shop at the health food store and people would see that I was paying with that, like, you shouldn't be allowed to pay for, like, high quality food, you don't deserve that. So it's like,
Right.
so I can't eat too unhealthy, but if I try to eat healthier, I don't deserve that
Right.
either.
That's only for the rich
Right.
people.
Or like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be able to buy a birthday cake. Really? A kid shouldn't have a birthday cake? You know,
Mhm.
it's so ridiculous.
I I just I just can't. I can't. I'm gonna get mad and I can't. I just can't right now.
We're already mad.
Yeah.
We're all mad here. We're gonna listen back to these, or at least I am in the future when I'm old and I'm like, me and my friends had this amazing platform and we talked about these really great topics. The year of our Lord, fucking 2025,
Not my
right now,
Lord.
today, the year of our made up Lord,
The year of our Lord.
2025. Yes. Year of our Lord 2025 is a fucked up year. And I know that we say that every goddamn year, but like this year is really especially fucked up. The grocery prices are astronomical and the government is fucking shut down currently. And people are not getting their SNAP benefits.
Yeah. And then our government is, building a gold ballroom and throwing a
Mhm.
Great Gatsby Halloween. And then Dr.
Yes.
Oz just had that statement where he's like, oh, well, Americans can lose like 135 billion pounds
Billion
before
pounds.
midterms. And it's like, first of all, no, no. I
Wait,
think
what?
yes.
Oh my God, you didn't see
I
this?
think he needs to
No, I
listen to
told
this
you.
episode to understand the
I told
numbers.
you. My whole algorithm is Tony Braxton. People dancing to Tony Braxton. There's
Okay,
nothing
I'm
else
going to
over
give
there.
you a quick rundown. Did you see the guy faint in the White House?
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
I don't
So
watch I don't I
Okay.
don't watch
Dr.
anything
Oz.
happening in the White House.
Well, this is why Dr. Oz was speaking, because there were drug companies having a meeting in the Oval Office and the press was there. And they are trying to lower the prices for GLP-1 drugs, right? And he was trying to stroke the prostate of Trump because RFK Jr. got up there and said, Americans are going to lose 125 million pounds by next year, collectively, obviously. And Dr. Oz got up there and looked at Trump with this like kiss ass brown nose face and was like, actually, Mr. President, they're going to lose 135 billion pounds. Okay, so taking the amount of Americans, not even adult Americans, not even obese adult Americans, all Americans. If we took every single fucking solitary American and they lost 135 billion pounds, we would all have to lose like 350 pounds, is what they figured out. We're going to all lose 350 fucking pounds by next year.
Not only is it so wrong and so stupid to cut SNAP, build a gold ballroom, and then to say Americans are going to lose so much weight. Like, could you be any more tone deaf?
And then Trump read off the names of the people in his cabinet and was asking them if they were on the drugs. Like a major HIPAA violation, right? He was just like, oh, so-and-so, are you on them? No, sir. So-and-so, are you on them? No, sir. So-and-so, are you on them? Yes. Like, you can't ask people what fucking medications they're on. So then this guy fainted. Trump just stood there like a fucking asshole. RFK noped out of there. Like, he ran the other fucking way. Mr. Health and Human Services. Like, I'm sure there was an RFK hole in the wall.
Is he running to get a fork and a knife to try to eat him?
Everybody's like, oh, he was running to get help. No, if you have any medical background, even Dr. Oz ran towards the person who fucking fainted because he does actually.
He was running to get condiments and silverware so he could try to eat that man.
Right?
That's fresh meat. It's still warm.
And the people on the internet are like, why did RFK Jr. run the other way? Isn't he a doctor? Oh my God, there's people who think he's a fucking doctor. He is a fucking environmental lawyer. So for our listeners, if you think that RFK Jr. is a fucking doctor and he's the head of the HHS and the FDA and all that fucking bullshit, he is not. He is a fucking lawyer and he is a brainworm. Anyway,
Cut the
you
show.
have to
Cut. I'm done. I'm clocked out. There's so many words that you just said right now that like I don't have the time to unpack them. It's just too much. I hate it here.
Yeah, if you have a second to check out that fucking news conference, it was a shit show and a half. And
well, you didn't mention that Trump just stood there like he was a child getting his picture taken while everyone was over in the corner, like looking at this guy.
Like trying to help. Yeah.
Like he didn't know where he was.
It's so great.
Did he know what happened?
He did, because he looked at him on the ground and then he just turned back to the camera and is just like standing there with his puffy ass right hand just like actively dying. Oh, and he fell asleep when Dr. Oz was talking. So Dr. Oz is like stroking his ego and saying that people are going to be losing their entire body weight and more. We're all going to be dead. That's pretty much what he was saying, which, you know, isn't far off. Trump was fucking asleep, but we do kind of get to see what he'd look like dead because he looked very dead.
Put that on the vision board.
Right? Yeah. So that's what's happening.
But in other news, MAMDANI. I don't even live in New York City, but I did on Tuesday night.
Yes. I was watching TikToks of people in their apartments just holding their phones outside their open windows and hearing like the whole city cheering. And I was like crying like a baby. There were so many of them and the sound of hope was ringing through the streets of New York.
It's really great.
I'm not jealous.
I love
at
that
all
for them.
Yeah.
No.
But I do love that, you know, he never like, I'm finding it.
It takes you that long to find it?
It do. I feel like he never wavered when it came to supporting trans people in particular. He never gave kind of like gray area, vague answers. He was firm in his support of them the whole time. And I hope other Democrats will see that and realize they don't have to fucking throw trans people under the bus to win. Shocking, just run based off of what people actually want. and what helps people.
I know we need to wrap up, but I learned something really cool about Zohran Mamdani recently. Before he was obviously mayor-elect of New York City, he was an assemblyman for the New York State legislature. I don't know if you guys know about like the taxi cab medallion situation. So in order to run a taxi cab in New York, you have to pay for this medallion that is sold by the city that goes on the taxi cab to say that you're an official New York taxi cab.
Mhm.
And those medallions cost like $100,000, like when they first were
What?
like earlier in the decade, $100,000. Okay. But it gets worse. So the value of those medallions was artificially inflated upwards to like $1 million to have an official medallion. But then what happened was Uber and Lyft came onto the scene. And so then these taxi cab drivers who are primarily immigrants had like taken out loans to cover the cost of their medallions. And now, since Uber and Lyft were on the scene, the value of those medallions were way less, obviously, but they still were on the hook for these $1 million loans. And so they went on like a hunger strike in New York to like bring awareness to the situation and also to like have the city help them with this. And the city wasn't doing anything until Zohran Mamdani like came and joined the hunger strike and didn't eat for 2 weeks to like bring
Oh, wow.
awareness to the issue. And then what ended up happening was the city lowered the cost of the medallions, or they gave some grant money to the people who had taken out loans for the medallions, because it was like all these predatory loan stuff actually happened. Obviously, because these taxi cab drivers are such a like integral part of New York City and they were on this hunger strike. But I feel like nothing really got done until Mamdani stepped in and was like, no, this is an issue for the people that I'm here representing. And not only am I going to talk about it, but I'm going to join them in their struggle, you know, for something to actually get done. So I learned that about him this week, and I don't even live in New York. I haven't been to New
Yeah.
York since like 2018, but that's my savior
I think we could all agree on that one.
That's a good savior for sure.
Yeah.
in my
That's
mind and my heart.
That's my mayor. That's my president. And I, for one, am excited for Shakira law.
Can I read a couple comments that we've had on our few YouTube videos that we've put out?
There's a really good comment on one of the full-length videos.
What is it? I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, please read it to me.
I will. Let's see. To our listeners, if you haven't, we're stepping up our YouTube game. So if you would like to see more videos, we're going to be posting there. This lovely commenter said, "Wow, I have never seen 4 more beautiful women, and they are so smart and funny too. I love them and cannot wait to watch more episodes of their brilliant podcast, Girls Gone Godless. I already listened to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but now I can watch their beautiful faces on YouTube too."
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
That is a glowing recommendation.
Yeah, I almost couldn't have written a better one myself. I might even add, like, if you look in the show notes, there's a way to support us monthly. If you get anything out of this podcast, you know, we don't make any money on it. In fact, we have to pay for things to, you know, run the podcast. So if you, you know,
Yes.
if you enjoy this, if it fills
Yes.
your hole, fill our hole with money.
With money.
Just for $3 small a month, you could change the life of a Girls Gone Godless host.
Hallelujah, I am saved, I am so glad I am. Glory, 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 glory to God.
Thanks for listening to Girls Gone Godless. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode. It helps heathens like you find bitches like us. Check the link in the show notes to stay up to date on the latest heathen news and how you can become a guest on the show, or leave us a tip if you're feeling generous. See you next Sunday. Stay blasphemous.